All right, welcome to HighScore ThrowDown number 8. This is a video game show in which we pit 3 panelists against each other and video game related questions. Today, my panelists are the Salt King, one man, one woman only.
Strip the flesh, salt the wood.
Joey Hill. We have the current, previous champion from 2 HighScore ThrowDowns ago, Huggie.
Hey, what's going on there, guys?
And then we have the
Let me stop you right there because I'm going to introduce myself. Underdog champion. Here, Nick Knoke.
You heard it.
Ready to roll.
You heard it himself, guys. You heard it yourself. Over on the John Cam, we have John Knoke as fact checker, our best fact checker of all time.
He's better than Dan.
You're damn right.
Wait. I'm gonna stop you right there. John Knoke's just the best of all time at everything. Okay?
All right.
We'll move on from there.
He's
All right.
champion of champions right
We
now.
got a whole bunch of good questions for you guys today. We have best stealth-based video game. We have best hack and slash game. We have best console exclusive game. But before we dig in, I just want to do a couple moments of silence. You know, big geekdom. Somebody died. When the co-creators of Simpsons died earlier this week, I just want to do like a little moment of silence for them because you know Simpsons is pretty big. And it's been around for more than 20 years. So I just want to do a fast moment of silence.
There's a lot of Simpson games out there that deserve a lot of credit.
It's a moment of silence, Joey.
Moment of silence.
Starting now.
All right.
And we're back.
All right. So, for listeners out there, we have a Instagram page and a Twitter page. The Instagram is The Gentleman Friends, where you can like our pictures. We got a bunch of goofy pictures up there you can like. We even have challenges, DC versus Marvel, stuff like that. And then on Twitter, you can follow us, shout out to us. It's the G Friends. You know, we're all hip with the social media, guys. That's what we're doing.
We're all hip with the G stuff.
On Instagram, don't just like us, follow us too.
Boom. And then also we're on YouTube as The Gentleman Friends. You know, like our videos, watch them. You know, comment on them, subscribe.
Soon on SoundCloud.
We're almost going to be on SoundCloud. You know about that mixtape. It's hot fire, guys. It's hot fire. But if you like our videos enough, comment on them, and you know even post your own. Propose your own video game questions. We'll use them in future HighScore ThrowDowns.
Yeah, and be sure to tear up all my arguments.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
tear them up.
Exactly. Now, but we're gonna get down.
I will comment back and argue with you.
We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty, y'all.
The
Nitty gritty.
Fight you.
All right. Round 1
Fight!
of HighScore ThrowDown. What is the most controversial video game? And I'm gonna start off with Huggie.
Well, there's a new game coming out called Hatred. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But basically, it's self-titled as a massacre simulator. It's really gruesome stuff. You're playing the super nihilistic, super angsty guy, and you go out and you murder civilians and policemen. And you say, what's different from, like, GTA? We've done that in games before. But it's very interesting that just the intention so greatly changes the dynamic of this game. If you watch it, and please don't watch this in front of children, please don't watch this in front of parents, anybody that would be offended by serious graphic violence. But if you watch the trailer, you will feel uncomfortable. There are execution-style, headshots. People are screaming for their lives. They're begging you not to kill them as you stab them repeatedly. It's really, really gruesome stuff. Nobody is going to like this game. It's already generated so much controversy.
Has it been canceled?
No, that's
is it like a Pal Pot simulator? Is that
it's a top-down like asymmetric shooter. It's kind of in the same vein as that one Tomb Raider game that came out not too long ago.
Okay.
Or any of like the Xbox Live Marketplace zombie games.
So that's your pick.
But you
your pick, Hatred.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna move on to Joey Hill.
Okay. I just want to say that doesn't.
Are you gonna?
Oh no,
I'm
not arguing against them. I'm not going to bash anything. I just want to say I think it got an AO rating.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Adults only. All right.
All right. Anyways, for me, I did a little bit of research and I went with a game similar to Hatred. It kind of follows that hateful massacre concept. But for me, my most controversial game that I chose was Super Columbine Massacre RPG exclamation point.
You know, I actually have played that one.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. And the reason why it's horrible, because it simply makes a mockery of the shootings themselves. The creator initially intended it to shed light on his own experiences with bullying, but it failed in its delivery, instead desensitizing and trivializing the massacre and the innocent victims who the game made nameless. In fact, when you play this game and when you killing these people, instead of having names or being completely unlabeled, they have generic titles like
Like,
for example,
like bully, jock.
yeah, jock type.
What system was this game for?
It's for PC. It's a free download.
So I can play this right now.
Yeah, math teacher, preppy girl, janitor, stuff like that. And what's crazy is that the actual characters are strikingly similar to the actual 13 victims of the Columbine massacre.
Now, who did any important video game developer or magazine review this video game?
A couple did. In particular, we have there was a PC magazine, PC World, and they said it is one of the top 10 worst and most offensive games of all time. So, I mean, the game, it's first of all, it's not that great a game. And it starts off with you recreating the massacre. Like, you literally play as the two guys, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, and you go around and you murder these people. And then you die, like, you commit suicide, just as the two shooters originally did. And then you go into, like, a dream sequence, and like kind of like an afterlife experience where you go through hell. And you go on these adventures through hell where you're killing people and doing horrible things. And, you know, they put a lot of, like, they try to show all the video game influence in there. Which is why I'm personally offended by this game, is because it basically took video games and said video games are the reason that the Columbine massacre happened, and they did it in video game form. That's a huge slap in the face to video games everywhere. Some iconic video game characters that pop up during the dream sequence, or like that after hell sequence. You first of all, you fight a lot of the demons and monsters from Doom alongside Pikachu, Mario, Mega Man. They're in there. And you also are joined by real world personalities like Malcolm X, Ronald Reagan, and John Lennon.
In hell. They're all in hell.
They're all in hell.
Okay.
And your final boss is the South Park image of Satan, who then, after you defeat him, rewards you for all of the deeds that you've done.
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there. All right, Nick Knoke, it's your turn.
All right, so mine is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, you're like, Grand Theft Auto, there's, what, 5 of these now? Probably more? How come this is so controversial compared to the other ones? This one was controversial because this one actually showed the act of sex. And when this game came out, I was probably like 7 or 8. Had this game actually went through with showing the act of sex, my childhood would have been ruined even more than it already was. This game was not only controversial to itself, it was controversial to the entire United States. Hillary Clinton was like, maybe we should just review the ESRB.
Fact check?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
She was just like, why don't we just review the ESRB and try to get other games to get a harsher rating so we would be stuck in the hell that is Australia right now with their strictness on games.
We don't even want to get into Australia.
It made people want to review games such as Killer 7, The Sims 2, Bully. Just simple games like Bully isn't even that bad of a game. It just, Hillary Clinton was like, maybe we should review these games, review their rating, and make it to where our kids can't get these games when it shows such violence and horror. So this game is not only controversial to itself, it is controversial to all games out there of the time.
Okay. Huggie, why is your game worse than both these two games?
Well, Super Columbine was a very controversial game, and it remains to be very offensive. But that game was out and out a bad game. I played it myself, and the mechanics were horrible. It operated a lot like a 8-bit Final Fantasy game. But Hatred is bad because...
Is it out yet?
No, it's not out yet. It's going to be coming out on the Steam Workshop.
Okay. When? Do you know?
Not in the too distant future. That's
okay.
all. But to me, it's the worst because not only with everything that we have going on right now with terrorism, the increased school shootings. We live in Virginia, so the VTech shootings hit very close to home for us. But it's just the intention of it. There are a lot of people out there that are very hurt. They're very confused. They don't understand what a human life means, and a game like that, I feel, legitimately does have the ability to influence somebody or desensitize somebody, and it's fine for the people who aren't going to be affected by that, but even then I have to really question, why is that something that you would want to play for more than just perspective?
Okay. Joey Hill, why is your game more controversial than these two?
In terms of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the mod that he's talking about that lets you see the actual sex, that's not actually in the regular game. So if you bought that actual stuff,
hold on, no.
you have to mod your game.
No.
Fact check.
It's not
I'll tell
in
you
there.
right now, it was originally supposed to be in the game.
But they took it out. So
It's in the
they
game's
took it.
code.
You have
They
to
took it
modify
out,
the
then,
game.
Then
in
somebody
order-
modified the game to bring it out, and then through that they found out there was a way that you could glitch your Xbox and your PS2
But you
to
have
get
to,
the mod.
intentionally modify or glitch the game in order for it to happen. It's not actually in the game. So me personally, I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I loved Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I never saw that scene because I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't seek out to do it. So you have to go out of your way in order to witness that scene. Otherwise, it's just like any other Grand Theft Auto. For Hatred hasn't come out yet. So it's not actually released on shelves. It could easily get swept under the rug, and people might miss it. It might just not get noticed. It might not hit the media. Columbine hit the media. It hit the media hard in 1999 when the massacre happened, and then in 2006 when when the creator Danny Ledon was revealed by by Roger Kovacs, who was friends with one of the victims. He revealed the creator by essentially like tricking him into giving him his name and address, and then they brought it out, and he literally said, "One of the girls who died was a friend of mine. Her name was Rachel. We were in the same church group," he said, "and anyone playing this game can kill Rachel over and over again." Okay? So
Holy shit.
that right there, that was in the news, and this game was all over the place in 2006. And the way it literally it made it seem okay to go on killing sprees based on video game violence. And the game garnered a lot of immense negative feedback in 2006, and it even was linked to the Dawson College shootings in Quebec in 2006. So I think that's why Super Columbine Massacre RPG ! Is the most controversial game.
But hold on, that's controversial to that game. If I'd never heard of this game before now, so it's not controversial to me.
How old were you in 2006, Nick? Were you watching the news
I was
in 2006?
I was 8
years
yes,
old.
I could understand
You were
the news.
picking your nose and eating it and running around pretending you were Pokemon.
I'm just saying.
Now listen,
I'm just saying
mod,
you can always explain sex to your children. You can always explain at a certain point that this is just something that adults
That's
do,
where you came from.
and that's something you'll have to get to on your own time. But there is no excuse for murdering people in the street.
It's not about murdering
cops.
people in the streets or anything. It's not about the sex. The sex
Look,
made it
the
controversial
way I
at
see
the
it,
time.
it is okay to go have sex with your girlfriend.
Hey,
it is okay to have sex with your girlfriend.
Let me
It is
talk.
not okay to
Let
go
me
to your
talk.
school and kill 13 people with a pistol.
Joe Hill, let me talk.
Hold on. We got a fact check.
In this
hold
game,
on.
you can choose your weapon that you murder these people with.
Fact check.
Hold on. Okay, John.
All right. So everything that was said is true. It is a mod. You can glitch your Xbox to do it naturally. You don't have to mod the Xbox or the PS2 to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was only thought to be a possible motive. They can't confirm that.
Yeah, they
And Hillary
stated that
Clinton
it was...
in Congress, they actually did pass something with the FTC to investigate Rockstar to see if they actually intentionally undermined them when raiding San Andreas.
Did we
because of
ever?
the hot
Did
coffee
we ever
mod.
figure out Rockstar's claim, innocence, whatever?
I'll find out.
Okay. All right.
See,
All right. But I think I'm gonna call it right here because it's
can I say one thing?
course
Joe
you-
Hill
actually,
never,
okay.
never let me.
You guys each have 30 seconds for your last point.
All right, you said that Super Columbine, ! Whatever, hit the media. So did the hot coffee mod. It hit the media so hard it made them think about other games ratings and affecting other games, not just itself. The San Andreas mod affected the ESRB, the group that every game has to go through to get passed and put on shelves. So it not only did affect just San Andreas or just this internet game that nobody's heard of anymore, it affected every game ever.
Okay, Huggie.
I feel that if you are just asking for straight out the most controversial game in terms of sheer numbers, I don't think San Andreas would even do that.
Okay.
I think you'd be looking at Mortal Kombat or Doom.
Okay.
But I think just out of sheer intentions, out of the sheer moral dilemma that it creates, and all the arguments about, is this art, is this, really a murder simulator, I would say Hatred.
Okay, Joey.
My point that I want to make is that it is not okay to go around and shoot kids in your school. Columbine actually happened. This is a game based on a real event. And this game has been studied for its links with violence in video games. And Columbine has a huge thing to deal with violence in games and how it affects youth and their actions and behaviors. In addition to that, Columbine, like I said, it's a real event. The game title tells you that you're going to be doing something that involves a real event that actually happened, was actually controversial, and has affected video games in the studies that have come from that in linking violence in video games and the actions that children
Was that the event
take.
or the video game?
All right, I'm
that
gonna
affected
call
you?
it right here. I'm calling right here, and I'm gonna give the point to Joey Hill, based on the fact that they believe that video games cause the violence that the boys went out on, and the fact that they made a game about it. I would think that would be the most controversial video game.
Just so you know, Rockstar basically apologized, and nothing ever came of it.
Right.
The guy who made Super Columbine, he didn't apologize and he didn't change his message or anything like that. He didn't alter the game or anything.
He did apologize when it was linked to the other shooting. I did find that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That was a tough round, guys. That was a tough round. Second question: Rockband was recently announced for the new consoles, PS4 and Xbox One. But are we really excited for this? And I'm gonna start off with Nick Knoke.
Hell yes! Rock Band is the best rhythm game series, hands down. It is so fucking great. You actually get to simulate playing in a rock band, touring around the world, starting from a small town band into a world band where you're in Tokyo, you're in London, you're in Radio City Music Hall. This is why Rock Band's great. And not only is it just you that is the Rock Band, it's you and your friends. You've got a drummer, you've got a singer, you've got a guitarist and a bass player. You can even have keys. A fourth one, oh my god, with new features, it's gonna blow my mind. And not only is it just on the PS4 and Xbox, it's on the Xbox 360, the PS3. It's on all those systems too. So if you don't feel like going out and buying new instruments for the new systems, you can go out and use your old instruments on the old systems.
Is that confirmed, John Knoke? All right.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Huggie.
It is.
I say absolutely not.
All right. Tell me
I actually didn't even know that Rock Band was coming out, but when I looked it up, they're not doing anything new with it. He mentioned new features. There are very few, if any, actually.
The game was just announced, so.
The harmonics, actually, they confirmed that there would not be any changes to the peripherals, to the graphic, well, not the graphics, but the aesthetic. It's going to be the same old Rock Band, just with new songs. And some of the peripherals that are old won't even work that well with the new one, like the keyboard, which, by the way, if you're playing keyboard in Rock Band, sorry you didn't get laid, bro. But they have so much potential. It has so much potential, and this is what bugs me.
I don't know.
Why isn't there like modes where you can like start a record label and you and your high scoring friends can like chart on world boards? They don't have a whole lot of content. It's really you're just there for the songs. And if you're just there for the songs, then check into Rocksmith. You can actually learn to play the guitar. Now that you hook it up to your TV, there's no excuse for you not to.
I mean,
Hold on.
And you know, the only way is if they will have a stellar set list, and when I say stellar, I mean a long and well thought out one. Oldies, newbies, underground, everything.
Okay, Joey Hill. Now, which one are you citing?
I'm going to back Huggie on this.
Okay,
but
do you have different points?
I do. I have some other points that I
Okay,
would
are
like
you
to
going to
present.
Are you going to piggyback onto him, or are you going to have your own different points?
I'm going to throw my points in there. I'll let you decide as the judge. I'm just going to throw a bunch of facts at you at the same time.
Okay, go ahead.
Most of my points are just facts.
Okay.
It was developed by Harmonix.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The original Rock Band. It was for Xbox 360, PS3, PS2, and Wii in 2007, 2008. Now, the reason why I say that is because Guitar Hero started it all, and EA is one of the major developers involved with Harmonix and stuff.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Is that true?
Electronic Arts had a huge hand in the money side of it, and that's why they did Rock Band, and that was an attempt to emulate the success of Guitar Hero. For me, I don't really care for either games. I don't care for Guitar Hero, and I don't care for EA. I will make it a huge point that I did not buy an Xbox 360, PS3, or whatever to play these games. I'm a traditional gamer, and that's what I wanted to play was traditional games. I didn't buy it for rhythm games. I think the time has passed. There was a fad for Rock Band and Guitar Hero, and that time is done. I'm sure there's a small group of fans that really love those games and they love playing them and they go back to them. But for the majority
Yeah, you're
of gamers,
sitting on my right.
yeah, the majority of gamers, they're not going to care. I don't think it's going to go over well. I'm personally not going to look into it, and I thought this was a purely hypothetical question. I didn't know it was announced actually.
Okay.
To go on off of what Huggie said, I don't think it has a lot of features that combat with Rocksmith. So I think Rocksmith is where it's at for the big that group that wants to play those instruments in a game, and that's where you want to be. Is that Rocksmith? So Rock Band, not excited at all. I don't even give a crap.
All right, before we go on to the fighting, John, you got a fact check.
Okay, I'm looking into the new features thing, but old instruments do work on the new systems. They did confirm that.
Wow,
They
that's
do
amazing.
backwards compatibility.
So
And the set list is actually user requested. They built a site for it, so just so you know.
Okay, Nick Knoke, you're on the floor.
So, to combat some of your things, now, I own Rock Band 3, I will forever, because I downloaded it off the Xbox Live network. I own every instrument. I own 3 guitars, the drums, and a,
Can we all play guitar?
maybe.
I'm just gonna buy Guitar Hero.
See, the thing about Guitar Hero is Guitar Hero's over the top. It's not realistic. Rocksmith may teach you how to play the guitar, but we've been over that. We've got to buy a guitar to do that. Who wants to buy a guitar to do that when you buy a
How much-
$20
Can you fact check? Tell me how much. Like, give me like a cheap guitar that I can
100.
buy out.
How
And
many?
how much
$100.
is it going to cost me to buy Rock Band?
Rock Band plus the 3 guitars you have
$30.
plus the instruments.
$30 at Walmart, you can get a cheap, shitty guitar.
Actually, I bought, for those Rock Band drums, dude off Craigslist sold it to me for $10. Find that dude.
Well,
You know?
could I get a shitty guitar from a guy off Craigslist? Yes.
Yes.
I'm talking about if I go to
No,
Walmart.
those drums are pretty much brand new. Like, he played them, put them in his closet.
Well, I
and
mean,
then
maybe
sold
I
them
can
on
get a really
Craigslist.
awesome deal on a guitar off of Craigslist. We're talking Craigslist, man. You might get a guitar for free.
All right, but what I'm
That's true.
saying is, like,
Dude, you get couches
Everybody
off that for free.
I've
You
ever-
get strippers for free. You get free blowjobs on Craigslist. We're not talking about Craigslist.
Hey, you know what? I've done that. You don't want to go that route.
everybody, I have every one of my friends that I've ever said, "Hey man, I've got Rock Band. You want to play it?" They're like, "Yes, let's do it."
I mean,
let's
of
go
course
play it.
you'll play it if it's
Now-
there.
Now, I will
gonna
say,
buy it.
I will say, Rock Band and Guitar Hero, yes, it's seen as a fad and all that, but
seems like this game is one of those
in-
ones you want to
I think-
rent or
I think
borrow.
in excess it is a fad. But after how many years now, we're getting a new one. I think it's going to blow up. I think people are going to start loving it again. Whether or not they make more, I have no idea.
I think it's going to be swept under the same rug as hatred.
I think there's
I
a
don't
lot of
think so.
silly fucks still playing Mario Party, so everything has its value to somebody. But I think,
Right.
personally, that it's
Maybe
it's
the
just
rhythm gaming-
fulfilling a niche. It's just giving the people who are still on board more of what they want, and they don't try to overreach that at all. They're not trying to get anybody new, and that's where they lose me. I'm out.
Maybe rhythm gaming is not fun to you guys, but
Oh no, it's
I
a
know-
blast.
I see.
That's what we're-
It's a blast. All right,
It's
did
a
you-
blast for you and
It's-
your small
it's
group
a
of people
blast.
that
Did
want to
you love
play those
playing-
games. The
I wanna
general
ask
public,
you-
they're not going to care.
I want to
Stars.
ask you: did you love playing Rock Band with all of these gentlemen friends here when it came out?
Not really. We didn't actually play a lot of Rock. I think we played it like 2 or 3 times.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Nobody is denying that it's fun. But by the time you get everybody dedicated to an instrument, the party gets going. You have
Somebody's
some
drunk.
fun. Yeah, why would you want, to give your instruments out to everybody? Everybody's drunk. They accidentally break them, or
It's a party game.
Or
I've seen many drum sets get broken.
I feel like only really you bring that thing out around parties when you have people to play with, which is good. Games need to be social, but god damn it, that's a lot of shit to buy. It takes up a lot of fucking space.
All I'm saying is, if you
where do you
had fun,
put it, man?
if you had fun on the old one,
Out the window.
you should be
I don't have
excited
room
for
in my
the.
Warhammer closet
You
for
should
that.
be excited for the new one with new songs and great hits.
I had fun with my ex. Don't mean I want the bitch back.
All right.
And you should be excited.
Did you get it
I'm
off
not
of
saying.
Craigslist?
Shut up.
I'm not saying the game's, I'm not saying the game's going to be successful. That's not what the argument is. Is it going to be? Should
Are you
we be
excited? Are you excited?
Yes, I think we should all be excited because it's a great game.
I'm gonna have to call it right there. That's debatable. I'm gonna have to give the point to Huggie here. 'Cause he had the best points and he just shut you down most of the time.
All right. Fair enough. Everybody listening, you should still be excited for Rock Band 4. Go out and buy it.
Nah, go buy a real game.
You guys can play with Nick here.
Go buy a real game off Craigslist.
I'll give you if anybody comments in this saying they want to play Rock Band 4, I'll give you my gamer tag.
All right.
I know a guy who threw Prince of Persia
Free gamer
Warrior
tag.
Within outside of his window, and you can go pick it up. It's on the side of the road.
Are you for real?
It's on Craigslist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it was on Rumble.
All right, guys. That was a tough round. We're gonna move on to round 3.
All right.
All right. What video game should have a sequel that doesn't already have one, and we're gonna start with Joey Hill.
All right, I figured it was my turn to start. For me, I'm gonna go with a game that was developed by Ubisoft, came out 2003.
Okay.
2002. No, it's definitely 2003. Could be argued 2004, depending on the system. My argument here is going to be Beyond Good and Evil.
All right,
came
John,
out for
tell me if there's
the
a confirmed or
original
unconfirmed
Xbox.
sequel.
I'm really glad I went before Huggie. 'Cause
Shit!
He's cursing right now. It was originally announced, and that it was supposed to be the first in a series of trilogy.
What system
games.
was this on?
It was on Xbox and pretty much Xbox, I think.
PS2?
I think it was on PS2 as well.
Okay.
I know it was on Xbox, and it was later released in 2011 on Xbox Live Arcade.
Okay.
It was supposed to be the
on
first
all of
Was on all
of
of
a
them?
trilogy
Alright.
games.
Okay.
Okay. The game itself is great. The problem is in its first year, nobody knew what it was. It didn't have a big name, so it didn't get a lot of sales. So Ubisoft didn't continue to invest in it, so they didn't make a second one. But everyone that plays it, it is critically acclaimed for being a fantastic game, and the tale and the story that it weaves is amazing. And
Give me a brief synopsis of the
all right.
story.
So you play as Jade, that's your protagonist, and you start off on this lighthouse island thing where you live with a group of orphans that you have essentially rescued from this alien invasion that is coming over this planet called Hillis. You live there with Paige, who's one of the caretakers of the orphans, and you start off by doing some missions for the orphans to kind of give you the feel for the game. They teach you how to play, and then you run out of money to keep your shield up to defend the lighthouse. So now you're this woman and who's kind of a photojournalist. She knows a little bit of martial arts, and she has to go and make some money to save these kids, essentially to
So that's
to
the whole
keep
plot.
them
The
going.
whole plot is to save the
but
kids.
it becomes so much more.
Well, tell me about the end game. How does she tie everything up?
Well,
What
the game,
happens?
as a photojournalist, you start out doing some missions. They want you to catalog all the species on the planet of Hillis, but then you get picked up by this this resistance group. There's this huge defensive people called Alpha sections, and they promised the world that they would protect them from this alien race that's trying to invade Hillis, called the Doms.
Okay.
The Doms survive by feeding off of people's life force, and so that's what they want the people for. What you reveal, spoiler alert, by working for this resistance group and going through all these missions that put you they do a great job of delivering everything. Okay.
All right.
Anyways. You reveal that Alpha sections, who's supposed to be protecting the people, is actually abducting people at night and giving them to the aliens, essentially.
Okay.
Your end game, you end up killing the leader, or taking out the leader of Alpha sections, who's a holy priest. But the game leaves you hanging, because what's going to happen with the impending alien invasion?
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What is the sequel?
It
What does
leaves
it
you
entail?
hanging.
Leaves you hanging?
You defeat the priest, but then what happens next?
All right,
the
John,
game,
you got a fact check,
you don't know
John?
what happens with these aliens that are coming, the Doms.
You just asked if there was a sequel announced. There's one currently in development, but they stopped that to make Raven Origins, and then there's no definite release date. Nobody knows.
Okay.
But
All
it's
right.
slated for PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC. So
Why does it deserve a sequel?
Because it's a great game. This
Okay.
narrative is great. It makes you care about these characters that they put in this game. And it, like I said, it was originally announced to be a trilogy.
Okay.
Ubisoft they didn't make enough money in that first year to really put enough effort into it until, I guess,
It wasn't
now.
Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
It wasn't Assassin's Creed.
Nick Knoke, go.
All right, my game is big shocker here. Last of Us.
Okay.
Last of Us. If you've never played this game, you probably should. Whoever has played it says go play it.
Okay.
Even people who haven't played the game already know it's a great game, and they defend it when people say it isn't. You play as Joel, a man who has lost everything in this. It's kind of like a zombie outbreak, but
Are they zombies?
they're not.
Okay.
They're made with, it's a fungus that infects the human, takes over the human body.
All right. Say it's a fungus. Don't call it a zombie.
Okay.
I mean, they could be considered zombies. It depends.
Okay.
All right, so
fungus zombie.
he has lost everything in this outbreak, and he is now he's tasked with the mission by a friend to protect the only possible cure for this infection, Ellie, a young teenage girl, maybe a little bit younger than myself.
Mm-hmm. Why is she the cure? Is it her blood?
She is resistant to the infection.
Okay.
Nobody knows how, but they're
Thought
trying
so.
to get her to scientists to figure that out.
Popular niche plot point.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
And so this game is just full-on action-packed. You have to...
It's full on action. Is there a story to it?
Ha 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 ha. There is a story to it. Great, fantastic story. In fact, there's a good amount of action in this, but it doesn't even matter because of how good the story is. Kind of like Chappie.
Okay.
So,
Shots fired.
We're not talking about movies. We're talking about video games. Okay.
This game is.
Tell me about the end game and.
Because at the end of the game, you're left kind of hanging. Now, I can't give you details because that gives away spoilers.
Go ahead.
Plus,
ahead.
I'll go ahead and say it. I never finished the game.
Oh!
I'm the first.
No. So why does this?
I'm the first one
Not
to
only did
call.
I finish
Hey,
this
hey,
game,
hey.
but I watched Sean finish it too.
I watched my brother finish it though.
Okay.
Second.
Second-hand finishing.
I did
This
both.
game
I
leaves
finished
you
it and watched
hanging.
it finish.
All you.
What happens at the end?
I can't.
What happens at the end?
People will get pissed at me. For
Spoiler alert!
I already spoiled Beyond Good and Evil.
This game is.
What
more
happens
important.
at the end?
All right, so I can't give you any details. Don't remember them that well, but I do know that you find out that Ellie can't, like the people that were going to cure Ellie, you can't really get to them, or something happens to them. Forget what happens, but you can't find the cure.
I thought she was the cure.
She is, but nobody knows how to extract her.
Okay,
like the
I got
cure
you.
from her.
I got you.
So the one people who were going to, you never find them, or they die, or whatever. And you're left hanging with Ellie and Joel living their lives. They're alive, and everybody wants a sequel because they want to know what happens to Ellie and Joel in the future. Because you just know that they're alive. They're living in this world with this huge epidemic.
All right, Huggie.
Fact check.
All right. Before we go to Huggie, fact check, John.
You want to know what actually happened?
I do want to know what actually happens.
Okay, so she gets taken to these scientists. They actually take her from Joel because Joel realizes he's not going to give her to them. They take her.
I remember
He goes
this
in
now.
there. He kills everyone. Takes her. His friend's there and is like, Joel, what are you doing? Because apparently they have to kill her to get the cure. And
That's
he's like,
right.
You're not killing her. So instead of letting his friend take her and make the cure, he kills his friend. Ellie doesn't know because she's unconscious. They leave, and he tells Ellie that they couldn't find the cure.
I remember
And
all
there.
this now.
Wow.
I remember,
Okay, you're done.
It's gonna
You're
sound awful,
done.
but I totally remember
You're
watching
done.
it.
All right, Hugs. Bring it on.
The whole hospital scene.
We of the Black Delegation would like to throw Pokemon Snap into the ring. No, not at all. Not at all. No, what I really wanted to say though was probably Alan Wake. That's probably the game in recent memory that most needs a sequel.
I think there is.
There's a DLC,
There's a
DLC, but I don't think they
an
ever.
official sequel.
No.
All right. Tell me about it, Hugs.
All right, so basically, you're a writer named Alan Wake. You and your wife go to a cabin so you can get away from the city life for a while, but something goes horribly wrong, and you find that the town that you're in is overrun by these dark apparitions, and the whole game is you trying to save your wife from the depths of the lake that this darkness crawled out from under. And it has a really interesting mechanic, play on light. You can't hurt these things until they're in the light. You have to shine away the darkness shroud on them, and then you can blast them away. And there's just a lot of cool enemy types, a lot of really great set pieces, and in the end, you do, through some very trippy final climactic type stuff, you make it back to the cabin where it all started. You do save your wife, but in classic, like almost Stephen King style horror twist, Alan Wake has been just typing all of this, and the last sentence in the paragraph that he finishes, he wrote the whole story, and throughout the game you just find pages of the story, and it gives you a heads up of what's coming. It's really interesting. The last line is, the darkness is coming, and not in a lake. It's an ocean. It's a tide of darkness. And so that really left it open, and just the characters were great. The setting was creepy. It was suspenseful. It was actiony. Where is the second installment?
Okay. Tell me.
The second installment was actually delayed because they decided to make Quantum Break.
Oh, that's right.
Can I ask a question
But
to
it's
both
coming.
of them?
All right, open up to the floor. We don't have a lot of time here, so
All
get
right.
your points out fast.
All right. I want to ask you guys how many which of your games, if you were to type into Google, would it type where I type in Last of Us into Google, it says Last of Us walkthrough. The very next one is Last of Us 2. That means so many people have typed that into Google that they want it to happen.
Okay.
Maybe that means that there's one coming.
Alan Wake 2.
Is there an Alan Wake 2 coming?
No, he asked that question.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you just do it?
Alan Wake
Yes.
does it.
Okay.
Alan Wake does it.
So I don't know what your point was, but Joey.
I'm saying
Joey,
that
okay,
it's
Good
such.
Evil 2.
Okay, you're done.
Okay,
you're
so
done.
all 3 games do
Okay,
that.
Joey Hill.
I was just
Be-
asking.
Besides telling me this is a good game, why does this deserve a sequel?
Okay, so at the end of the game, you are a resistance group, and you take down these alpha sections who are supposed to be protecting you from these aliens.
Mhm.
Okay, so you take them down. There's no one protecting you. These aliens still need their life force. So what are they going to come after? You guys.
Yeah.
But they leave you with that.
That's it?
That's
the
it.
end.
End.
I thought, wait, it just ends?
It ends after that, yeah. Because there's supposed to be a trilogy, but they never did it.
How did the ending actually go? What was the ending?
You defeat the guy,
Yeah.
right? And then they say that the aliens are coming. They reveal that the lead alien needs life force.
So that's the end.
And they're going to come after them
That's the
because
end.
now Alpha Sections isn't feeding them the people. You realize that Alpha Sections may have been actually saving the people by giving them giving a few to save many.
Okay.
But now they leave you with that.
Why does your game deserve a sequel?
Because the entire time you're playing through Last of Us, I only played about half this game, and I feel connected to these characters. I love these characters. If I met Ellie in real life, I would hug her. She's great. I love these characters.
I had to
Very
say
creepy.
Look,
I-
we're
a
the
lighthouse
same
filled
age,
with
alright?
orphans.
I'm like 2 years older than her. So
Don't you feel that the Ellie and what's his name? Joel's story has been told? What else is there to tell?
it hasn't been told.
What else is there?
There's the rest of their life. They just took down a group of scientists that are connected to it's like a rebellion group against the government. And
Okay.
they just took down these groups of scientists that are trying to make a cure. These people are going to come after them. You know, Joel just killed many people just to save one girl. So they're obviously going to be wanted by somebody, you know. You want to know how they're going to live this life in this post-apocalyptic world as a group, as two friends that you, as a player, feel so immersed and care for them so much. You
Okay.
want to know what happens to them.
Okay. Huggy.
Group's called the Fireflies.
Thank you.
So Joey has his sequel coming. That's they've had trailers released for almost years now, I believe.
But it's been canceled. They canceled it.
I believe it's just been put on hold. I don't think they. I think
but
it's
Alan
just
Wake
in.
2.
I think it's just in developmental
You could say
hell.
the same thing.
You
Alan
could.
Wake 2. They
Yeah,
are.
I've seen more. I've seen more evidence for Beyond Good
okay,
and
the
We
Evil
point-
can
2.
talk
point
about
is-
developmental hell for a
Huggy,
long time.
Tell me why your game deserves a sequel. Don't you-
Because the story hasn't been told yet.
But I thought he finished the story at the end of the game.
There's
finished
still
the
the
book.
darkness hasn't been conquered yet. It's still coming, and it's still coming for him. The darkness uses Alan as a conduit, basically. What he writes comes true, and he can give the darkness power. So far, it seems like he's the only one that the darkness can do that with, and it's still coming for him. The story has not been told, unlike The Last of Us, when there was a definite conclusion reached, and sometimes you just have to accept there's a happily ever after.
Okay.
Or maybe even not. Sometimes you have to accept that these characters have a journey that you can't follow them with, and it was a complete package.
All right, I'm gonna call it right here, and I'm gonna give it to Joey Hill
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Jeez.
because the game is unfinished, and I think an unfinished
Hill over
game
here.
deserves to have a sequel more than a game that has a complete ending that leaves you hanging like a cliffhanger type esque. You know what I'm saying? And Nick, you don't even remember half the story, so I just can't give it to you. All right.
Understandable.
All right.
It was like a year or two since I played this game.
All right. Round 4,
Yeah,
we're gonna go into
yeah,
this real fast. Best hack and slash video game. Huggy, we're starting with you. Go.
Godfist, absolutely. It is just so insane. The set pieces are amazing. The combat is fun. You literally get.
Is it easy? That's all I gotta ask.
I wouldn't say so. No.
Okay.
There's definitely there's extra modes. There's any way to change up the difficulty whatsoever. It will definitely provide the challenge if you wanted to.
PS2,
Am I gonna break a
PS3.
controller?
PS3, I believe. PS3 next one.
Am I gonna break a controller?
Nah.
Okay.
Joey Hill.
All right. For me, I chose a game, and I want to go before Nick because I chose Gauntlet Dark Legacy. All right.
Oh man, why
I
did
was-
I think of that? Actually,
That's a good
That's
one.
not the one I was going for.
It's made by Midway Games. Came out 2001, 2002. It was in the arcade, Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2. It was on everything. It's
Love
a hack
that
and
game.
slash dungeon crawler. 1 to 4 players. You can play with all your friends. I'm gonna give you the plot line right now. Chris. You ready? This is the opening scene. This is the entire plot line.
Standing up for this.
In ancient times, an evil mage Garm, using the power of runestones, released a great evil upon the land. This demon, Scorn, broke free of Garm's control, crushing him and imprisoning his soul in the underworld. Scorn then released his minions upon the land and scattered the runestones across the 8 realms. so that they might never again be assembled and used against him. No one has ever dared try until now.
Okay, first off, is Gauntlet Dark Legacy considered a hack and slash game when you're shooting projectiles from your weapon of choice?
You could run right up to him and beat him in the face.
Well, I would say that
consider this a hack and slash game.
It is.
I would say yeah.
Considered a hack and slash.
All right, Joe, here. That's all.
Gauntlet was
I
actually
can
the
go more,
original.
but I'll save it.
Nick Kanopi, go.
All right, so my game, you're gonna ask, is this considered a hack and slash? According to Wikipedia, yes. Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Star Wars Force Unleashed. You play this game as Darth Vader's secret apprentice. It is such a great game because not only can you hack and slash with a lightsaber. How many games can you hack and slash with a lightsaber? Yeah, they're all Star Wars games.
Battlefront. Oh, you want all of the Gundam Dynasty Warriors?
See,
Are those lightsabers? Those are
Well, they're beam
saber
sabers.
swords.
you get to hack
Total
and slash
rip-off
with
of
a
Star
Wars.
lightsaber.
Laser
Not only
swords.
do you get to do that, you get to have an assortment of your favorite force powers: Force Lightning, Force Grip, Force Throw, Force Slam. All these force powers that are just so great.
I'm gonna use a lightning breath item out of Gauntlet.
I cannot tell you how many times I just picked up a soldier, threw him at all the other soldiers, slammed him against the wall for a few hours, and then moved on with the game. And there's also all these lightsaber abilities that you can throw, you can slash with. It's just amazing. There's so many different colors of lightsabers. You can customize your lightsaber. It's great.
Nick, can you turn into a
you guys, the floor is yours. Oh, hold on.
I just want to
John
question.
Kanoki?
Okay. I want to clarify what you're talking about. God Hand.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said
God
God
Fist.
Fist. Okay,
Whoops.
All right.
Okay, can you turn into a fire-breathing chicken? Okay, can you run around and breathe fire on people?
Can you
as a
shoot
chicken?
lightning out of your hands?
You can shoot lightning out of your mouth.
That's true.
That is true. Can you pick people up with the Force?
I don't know about the Force, but you can
jump
put a
up and
dwarf on your
slam
back
on?
and run around and
Can
hack
you
people
jump
to
up
pieces
and
with an axe.
slam on enemies?
Yes.
As a
Joe's
barbarian,
arguing
yes.
against
Yes.
a Star Wars game.
Yellow barbarian.
Joey, you love
now.
Star Wars games.
Okay,
I'm trying
I've
to-
never heard of this game, so tell me more about this game, Huggie.
First, I just like to say, Blue Warrior needs food badly.
I play as Red Warrior, bro. Or Green Jester. 8
so
playable
basically,
characters.
it's
No,
a-
play as Yellow, the
it's
black
a
guy.
Red barbarian, man.
It's a super. It's very wacky. It's off kilter, but it has a great, delightful sense of humor. There's just a bunch of stupid little jokes, sex jokes, things like that. But it's very masculine. You just beat the tar out of people in these outlandish ways. There's nothing makes fucking sense, but it's all great. There's such a colorful cast. It's something that you don't get out of a lot of
Is it just
hack and
hand-to-hand
slashes.
fighting?
It is not. It's classic hack and slash fare. You can pick up weapons. You can do this or that and the third.
If nothing
So
makes sense,
kinda
why
like
do I want to
the
play it?
Conan.
Because it's just wonderful and wacky. Katamari Damacy, any game like that. The off-kilter sells. People do enjoy wacky,
So I'm
just-
playing Gauntlet, turning into a giant chicken.
All right, Jerry Hill, why is your game better than both these two games as a hack and slash category?
I mean, first of all, you got 8 different characters.
Okay.
And you have an additional ton of characters that you can unlock. There's boss fights upon boss fights upon boss fights. Items on top of items on top of items. You can change the colors. You want to play as Foxy Cleopatra, yellow sorceress gal? She's in there. Blue Knight? Play him. You want to play as
Yellow,
Gimli
the
looking
black
red
guys.
dwarf? He's in there.
black guy.
Play as your favorite. Unlock more because you got to go through these secret levels and get all these coins and crazy stuff. There's tons of levels. You can play these characters up until level 99. Every 10 levels, they get get upgrades and they change appearances and stuff like that. And you can play with 4 of your friends and it's absolutely fun. You're fighting hordes upon hordes. You got to kill the generators. They literally tell you in the first level.
I've got
kill the
fact check of my
generators.
own. You can only play with 3 of your friends.
Oh, 3 of your friends. 4 people can play this. 3 of
That's
your
true.
friends and yourself.
Nick Kanopi, why is your hack
If
and
you're
slash?
Sean, you can play with 4 of your friends.
Why is your hack and slash?
And you're all yourself.
What's that? Lassie's down the well?
My
Nick Kanopi,
game's
why is your hack and slash?
My
game
game's better because you play as Darth Vader's apprentice. You are learning from one of this culture's most iconic villains. He's teaching you, he's using you for evil and just amazingness. And then you find out, maybe I want to be good. And you start helping out and you start the rebellion. For the movies, it shows you starting the rebellion. It shows Princess Leia. It's just amazing overall game. You get to not only just hack and slash, like any other game, you can use force powers to help you hack and slash.
Okay.
Nick, I wanted to play a hack and slash. We're talking about the best hack and slash. So I want to go with a game where I'm going to be waylaying through enemy
do
after
that.
enemy after enemy after enemy
You can,
after enemy.
you can
I
do
don't
that.
care about force
But
powers.
if you get
The
tired,
story
you
is
know you've
simple
got
and
that
gauntlet.
force lightning.
This is a hack and slash
All right, Huggie,
at its core.
I'm gonna have. Okay, I'm between these two guys. All right.
All right.
All right. No offense, because it doesn't sound like a hack and slash game. It just sounds like a punching game, fighting game. So if you had to play one of these two games, which one would you play?
Definitely Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
All right,
I
I
did
think-
that shit all the time.
I think I have my best hack
Fucking
and slash
amazing.
answer, and I'm gonna go with Joey Hill on this one.
Boom.
How many questions have you given to Joey?
3.
I just
Who'd you play, Huggie? What was your first character? Because
My very first character,
History.
that was either a Blue Knight or a Yellow Sorcerer. I don't remember.
Nick Knoke. I know you love Gauntlet Dark Legacy. You try to get us to play it with you all the
I
time.
own it right now, currently. Yes.
What's your first character that you're gonna get to level 99?
That's hard, but
Green Jester all day
I love
long.
Green Jester.
That's my guy.
I love Green Jester,
I leveled up a bunch of other people.
but I like the
What's up?
dwarf
What's
too.
up, Mario?
Love the dwarf.
I just
pretty
want to.
cool.
I just want to say another great game that you could play with 3 other of your friends is Zombie Army Trilogy.
Oh my God! Okay, we're going to the fifth question. We're gonna hurry. All right.
What
All
are you
right.
doing in the recordings?
All right. We're gonna
He's here.
round 5. Round 5.
All right.
Best console exclusive video game, and we're gonna start off with Nick Knoke. Go. Nick Knoke, stop laughing. Let's go.
Last of Us.
I love you, Nick Knoke.
Do you want to explain it, or is that it?
Can you tell me the plot?
You already know the plot. Last of Us.
Because your brother told me.
I mean,
All right. We're gonna.
My brother told you the end of the game. I
Oh, you're
tried
right.
to
I'm
not
sorry.
spoil it so you could go find it out on your own because
Sell
this
it-
is such a great
If
game.
you sell it to me really well, I will pass on this question.
It's just
All right. You've already said it. We're gonna. Do you want to say anything more? All right, Huggie. We're gonna go straight to you. Best console exclusive video game.
any Final Fantasy ever before 13. 11.
Good clarification there.
10-2.
Before
Good
11.
clarification.
You might want to pick one.
Pick a specific video game.
That isn't
Ooh.
12.
specific Final
hard.
Fantasy if you want.
You want us to come back to you?
Final Fantasy 10, probably.
Okay. On which system was that?
PS2.
Okay.
It was one of the first few games with just an incredibly detailed voice acting. Everybody had a voice, it seemed like. The graphics were amazing at the time. The combat system was simple but intuitive. You could get easily 100, 120 hours out of that game if you wanted to do all the extra content. And just the story is classic Final Fantasy. There's romance. There's political trouble. There's racism. It covers a lot of topics very
love
simply
racism.
and very easily, and it does it all within the wonderful Final Fantasy universe.
Which is beautiful.
All right, Joey Hill.
All right, so Huggie said every Final Fantasy ever. So what I'm going to go with is why not take all those Final Fantasy characters, put them into one game, and Disney characters. Kingdom Hearts, motherfucker.
Oh shit!
All right, so I'm going with Kingdom Hearts because Kingdom Hearts is a great game. I don't even have to talk about the story because it's that darn good. The gameplay is great. The RPG elements, great. And they take 2 elements that nobody thought could ever be put together. Because when I first heard Kingdom Hearts was coming out, I was like, Disney and Final, that's going to suck. So it didn't. It blew me away. And it's friendly. It's friendly. It's good for all ages. I don't really talk about family games much, but this game is great for every single age group.
guy,
From your kids that love Disney all the way up to your old grandpa who's like, I like Mickey Mouse. So he's going to play that game too. I love that game. Kingdom Hearts, best console exclusive game
You're
out
going to be looking at the wall.
Okay,
for
Nick
a
Knoke,
while
why is
if
your
grandpa
game-
plays.
I just want to say
Where am I
that
going?
these 2 games, 10 you can only play on the PS2 and now PS3. Fact check.
John Knoke.
All of these games have remasters. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, they're
Throwing
put
it
on
out there.
PlayStation Network.
Okay.
They all have
But-
that.
That's
But
That's what this.
10 you can play on the PS3 now. It's remastered. 10 and 10-2.
I don't care about what
And
what
then-
other system's on. Just tell me why yours is the best exclusive video game.
Mine's the best exclusive because it just makes you feel like you are Joel in the game. You've got some girl that you've never seen before, you've never cared about before, and you're supposed to deliver her to find the cure to save humanity. It puts you through this character's shoes and makes you find out the hard way what it's like to care for somebody else.
Okay.
Even though they're technically cargo, they become more than that.
I'm an Xbox fanboy. Why do I want to play your game? Since I can't.
Why do you want to play my game?
Yeah.
Because I'm an Xbox fanboy. I played this game. I'm telling you to play it because it's that fucking good.
Would you buy a PS3 for this game?
Yes.
Okay.
In
Huggie.
fact,
I kind of did.
my brother did.
All right. Huggie. Tell me why your game is the best console exclusive video game.
When the PS2 hit, and people were a little staggered by the price tag. They were on the fence about it. Not a whole lot of games had come out for it that were good yet, that were clearly an advantage to having it over, the older PlayStation or the 64 that was still around. Final Fantasy X brought it. We were like, holy shit, this looks better than anything else. It runs smoother than anything else. It is more massive than anything else. And, the characters, it was the most story-driven game at that time. It just was so moving. The ending actually brought people to tears, and it did it years before The Last of Us.
All right, I'm gonna give you the same question I gave Nick. I only own an Xbox, but tell me why I should buy a system for your game.
Other than the fact you can probably get the game and the PS2 for right about $20 altogether.
That's true.
It's a monumental game. It made history. It received tons of 9s and 10s, which is pretty rare for most. And it's actually one of the best Final Fantasies. Series that was already stellar to begin with.
All right, Joey Hill.
Chris Hawk, you're going to buy Kingdom Hearts 2, and you're going to buy a PS2 to play this, or Kingdom Hearts 1, I'm sorry. You're going to buy a PlayStation 2. I mixed up my PlayStation and Kingdom Hearts.
That's fine.
You're going to buy a PS2 to play Kingdom Hearts because it's really good, and it's for all age groups, and it's great all the way through. Every single second, the story's fantastic. It has all your Final Fantasy characters in there. It has some of the most memorable boss fights you will ever experience. I know you love boss fights, Chris Hawk, and the boss fights in Kingdom Hearts are amazing. All your favorite Disney characters. You want to fight all the Titans from Hercules? Boom. You want to fight a giant, crazy chameleon thing in Tarzan's world? Do it. You want to fight Oogie Boogie? You're going to fight Oogie Boogie in this game, Chris Hawk. And you want to build your own little gummy ship to go to that little place so you can fight Oogie Boogie? You're going to do it. That's why I'm going to buy this game, because it is a complete package.
I want to ask you something real fast. Because I've played all of our games right now. Kingdom Hearts, I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I've watched Jonathan beat Kingdom Hearts. I got to the final boss of Kingdom Hearts. I beat Kingdom Hearts 2. The story is confusing. I don't understand the story. And I played it
your
twice.
Small, immature little brain just can't handle it.
Oh shit!
Oh!
I personally thought it was great, and I had no problem understanding it. You want to go?
Who's a heartless? Who's a nobody? Is Sora the original Sora?
I'm talking about the
Who
first
knows?
one. Don't bring nobodies in this. I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm not talking about Kingdom Hearts 2 or any of the other spin-offs that were on other consoles. I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 1.
They aren't spin-offs.
Where it
They're
was
all
as
part
simple.
of the same story.
You're Sora. You and your friends Kairi and Riku, you're on this island. You've been on it your whole life. You want to go see other worlds, so you build a boat. The night you're about to leave, you have these Heartless come out of nowhere. You don't know what they are at the time. They're just these dark creatures, and they take your friends. So what do you do as Sora? Simple. You go find your friends. You take that boat, which is all you have left, and you go and find your friends. And then this amazing epic unfolds from there. You find all these crazy, amazing plot twists that I think are easy to understand. Disney's not going to throw something at you that's difficult to understand unless you're Nick Knoke.
It's Square Enix that's making the game.
All right, Nick, you got to play one of these two games. Which one do you play?
Probably Kingdom Hearts, just because I got to finish it. But
Huggie, which game do you play?
I can say the same thing about 10.
The Last of Us.
Joey Hill, which one do you play?
Of these two?
Yeah.
That being said, I love Kingdom Hearts.
I gotta say, I've already played Final Fantasy X, so I'm gonna go play Last of Us.
All right, and I'm gonna give it to Last of Us.
Okay.
Nick Knoke, you're finally on the board.
No one said Mario Sunshine.
Nothing personal, Nick Knoke. I love it.
I'm surprised all those games were Sony games. That was very surprising. All right, not as surprising as our next question, round 6. Actually, it can't be surprising. Beth. All right, best stealth-based video game, and we're gonna start off with Huggie.
Woo! I know I'm going to take somebody's Metal Gear Solid.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, good. I prepared an entire counter argument for this.
All right, tell me why.
Other than just being, if not the original, then just the one that defined the genre, that did it best, that laid the groundwork, it's got to be Metal Gear Solid. You know, you're not just... You know, it's not just a stealth game. It's a stealth, action, espionage. It did Bond better than any Bond game ever did. It did, anything you want. Metal Gear, if they didn't invent they made it better.
All right, Nick Knoke.
All right. So I've got a question about my answer real fast. I'm going to say Splinter Cell. Do you want me to make it about one Splinter Cell game, or can I use the series? Because he used a series.
Go ahead.
All right. I say Splinter Cell because you play this guy named Sam Fisher. He's a special ops monster. All right. He wrote the book on stealth. He knows how to.
John Knoke, can you find me fact check which came out first, Metal Gear Solid or Sam Fisher?
Okay.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell.
I think it was Metal Gear.
Okay.
He wrote the book
Metal Gear
on
was
how
on
not
PS1,
to be
I
seen.
believe.
He's a pro at killing, he's a pro at hiding, and he's a pro at just being all around stealthy, undetected. He'll go through an entire encampment, nobody will know he was there. I don't know how many times I played Metal Gear Solid, the Ground Zeroes, and got detected because I couldn't figure out how to be stealthy. Sam Fisher knows how to be stealthy, and if the player doesn't know, if the player doesn't know, he explains it to you. He's sitting there talking to himself, so you know, because Sam Fisher's that awesome.
All right.
It's Metal Gear, obviously.
Okay.
Metal Gear.
Before we go any further, have you played a Splinter Cell game?
I've played Conviction and Blacklist.
Okay. Joey Hill, we're gonna go to you.
All right, I'm gonna
both
start
of
off. I also chose a Splinter Cell game, but I chose a specific one. I'm not going with the series.
Okay.
The game that I'm choosing is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Okay.
That
Okay.
itself. Before I go into I'm going to tell you right now. A lot of people hate Conviction and Blacklist. A lot of people hate them because of what they did. For Chaos Theory, they completely changed it. Chaos Theory is a critically acclaimed, amazing game. It won Game of the Year from official Xbox Magazine in 2005. It was Game of the Year. Why is it Game of the Year? Because it is easily the best stealth game out there. Nothing
A lot of
comes
Game
close
of the
to
Years.
Splinter Cell Chaos Theory in stealth. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is the best in the series, easily, hands down. Why? Because of all the stealth elements it gives you. And like Blacklist and Conviction, they took it in a whole different direction. They actually went away from this stealth. They promoted a lot of action and killing and stuff like that in Blacklist and Conviction.
It gave you that option, but you didn't have to. You could totally go through a mission, kill the target,
you could,
and get out of there.
But in Splinter Cell, in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, you needed to be stealthy. And Sam Fisher is the best at it. And this game not only had a phenomenal storyline that if you want me to go into detail, I need a lot of time because that thing is complicated and it is every mission is twist after twist and it is a Tom Clancy book. It is phenomenal.
I mean, all Splinter
and that's
Cells are
just
Tom
the story.
Clancy books.
The gameplay is crazy. They took away a lot of features in Blacklist and Conviction. What they did is in Chaos Theory you had a light bar and you had a sound bar. They let you know how loud your environment was, and you had to be quieter than your environment because these AI in Chaos Theory are smart, and they don't have cones of vision like in Metal Gear. They see around them, they hear around them, they are intelligent. And that's just the single player. You also have a co-op with 7 different missions that are completely nothing to do with the main campaign and engaging and have their own amazing story in and of themselves. There's multiplayer in this game. There's multiplayer in this game, and the multiplayer, it really perfected the multiplayer with its mercenaries versus spies.
Okay, Joey Hill. I think I got an idea of what your game is all about. All right, Huggie, tell me why Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
Tell me the stealth-based gameplay. How is it better than both these two games? Than both the Conviction and Blacklist, Chaos Theory.
Well,
how do they do stealth in this game?
Aside from just
Do you want to pick a specific Metal Gear Solid game?
Ooh,
I thought he picked
that would
the
have
first
to be.
one. He said the starting one.
No, he said the series.
Oh, the series?
Yeah, I
Okay.
said the series.
Yeah, I'm not picking a series.
If I had to really pick one, just because it's most concurrent and it would be able to be a better parallel between, I would have to say probably Metal Gear Snake Eater.
Thank you. That's actually the one I've only played. So,
But you have to understand about Metal Gear, it is not an easy game. There's resource management. There's you have to really decide. You have to really time your moves, and because everything counts in that game, everything counts, and the stealth mechanics are at times pretty unforgiving. And your enemies, like the boss fights, awesome. They will subvert you just as much as you try to subvert them. There's Psycho Mantis who tries to
Psycho Mantis and Snake Eater.
he'll you have to unplug a controller and plug it back into the second port.
That was the first one, not Snake Eater. Snake Eater's number 3. Metal Gear Solid, the first one had Psycho Mantis. He was not in the third one. He was not in Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater.
Are there boss fights in Chaos Theory?
Not really,
Okay.
because the game sticks to realism. So your boss, you do have a particular person in a couple missions that you are after in multiple missions, but they're a regular person. If you outsmart them and you sneak around them, they're going to be no more helpless than me or you, Chris Hawk. And that's realism at its finest. So sometimes a game doesn't need a ton of boss fights to be great, especially a stealth game. There's no sneaking involved in a lot of the boss fights in Metal Gear. I'm going to tell you that right now, Chris Hawk. I've played everyone except the fourth one, which I have played a little bit of the fourth one, but I haven't finished it. I really need to get on that. But the Metal Gear boss fights not very stealthy. So when you're talking about stealth
a
games,
few of them are though. A few of them you do have
but
to.
the majority of them are gunplay. What you want in a stealth game is you want to be sneaky. You want to be rewarded for being stealthy and punished for not being stealthy. Now, you can't take the non-stealthy options. In Metal Gear, you're not really punished for that. You can run through the whole game and shoot everybody and murder every single person in the game. You can't do that in Splinter Cell. You lose objectives, and certain objectives become unavailable to you, and you become unable to complete your mission in various scenarios when you go outside of your stealth aspect. The game has tons of gadgets. And he said resource management, you have to pick all of your gear before you go on your mission. And you have to base your gear off of what you think is going to happen. And you can go a more assaulty route and more lethal route, or you can go a non-lethal route, or you can go a mix. You have to choose what you're going to pick with your equipment before you go on the mission. So you have to be prepared. And you have a limited amount of magazines. You have a limited amount of gadgets. You only have so many that you can use, and you don't get more throughout the mission because you're not going to find these gadgets that Fisher carries.
Okay, Nick Knoke, you actually have something to say.
So from what I'm hearing, I've never played Chaos Theory.
It's amazing. It's the best one.
But from what I'm hearing, there's no difference between Conviction and Chaos Theory.
You need to play Chaos Theory.
Because he said light meter and sound meter. Those are just basically unseen in Conviction. They're not on your HUD. They're still there. You're still going to get detected if you're being too noisy. You're still going to get detected if you've got a bunch of lights around you or you're in the middle of a street lamp. You're still going to get detected. You know, it just doesn't show you the meters anymore.
All right.
Which, to me, a clogged up HUD is just annoying. Hate clogged up HUDs. One more thing. Everything else he said about that, about multiplayer and all that, that's all in Conviction and Blacklist. Blacklist reintroduced and made better Mercs versus Spies. It added newer technology. You could always do the stealth or the loud route, or you could do the mix, and you can even knock out people in Splinter Cell, and the enemies come up, find the knocked out body, wake them up, and then this guy knows that you knocked him out. He's gonna go look for you.
All right, Huggie.
Yo.
You've listened to these guys quite a bit now.
Okay.
Give me some reasons why Metal Gear Solid is the best stealth-based video game.
Because you don't need stealth.
The stealth-based aspect, are there costumes? Are there disguises in this game? Are there, how different is the light and sound-based hiding system in this game?
All right, in Snake Eater, there definitely is that. You have to use different types of camouflage. There's jungle backgrounds, rust backgrounds. You can get different types of face paint, anything from silly to actual, and it will give you percentages. It'll be like, all right, this will hide you this much in this kind of terrain as you're on it. And there's a lot of unlockables, customizables. There's extra game modes like the very famous, capture the monkey mini game. I believe Snake Eater even had some online components, if I'm not mistaken.
You said different types of terrain. How many different environments are in this game?
Jungles, compounds, I think a little bit of desert. It's the usual.
All right, Joey, how many different environments?
You have everything. You're outside, you have nighttime, daytime, you have indoors, outdoors, rain. You got to take into consideration the sound of everything around you and the way the lighting is. So in the day missions, it's hard because
I'm talking about environments. I don't care.
You have tons of different snow, desert, rocky, craggy islands with rain everywhere. You have cities. You're in a lot of Beijing, New York, places like that, all over the place.
Nick,
in my game, the only one besides out of what Joey just said that it doesn't have is I think it doesn't have any snow. But other than that, you're on islands. You're in the desert. You're in, I believe you start in an Asian city. It may or may not be Beijing.
I'm gonna tell you about my story.
No. Okay, I'm gonna call it right here, and I'm gonna
I will say before you call it, in these games in Splinter Cell, you can be stealthy with killing people. You just got to kill them before they notice that you're killing them.
With Conviction, I'm just gonna let you call it because I can argue about that with Conviction.
Okay, that's fine. I'm call it right here, and I'm gonna give it to Metal Gear Solid Huggie.
Metal Gear.
All right.
It's so fun to do.
Metal Gear, I need to know.
Because the environments, the costumes, the things you can do in the game. From what I'm saying, there's like not a lot of stealth-based things you can do based off. I mean, you go in with your stuff. You can do.
Do you want me to elaborate more?
I mean,
no, you've already called it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. The last question, round 7. We're gonna have best video game ending, and I'm gonna start with Joey Hill.
All right, for me, Chris Hawk, I picked Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
You know who made it? 2010 is when it came out in May. Action adventure, You know what platforms it was on? You've played Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about Red Dead Redemption, the game, and what leads up to the ending. I'm going to talk about the ending itself.
Okay.
We spend the game playing as John Marston, who captures our love by trying to be a good man and turning from his outlaw style past. He is pressed by the government throughout the safety of his family to hunt. Okay. All right, fine. I'll just go. The ending is fantastic, and it breaks away from traditional video game endings in providing a gritty, unique tragedy that captures your emotions and turns them like butter. You feel like a sense of tragedy and truly get to experience the emptiness that is revenge when Jack kills Ross in the final duel. For other games that dare to break this mold in a storytelling way that Red Dead Redemption does, they didn't do that a lot. That's not something you see often in games. That tragic sort of kind of almost like a bitter classical art style that Rockstar uses when they tell their tales. And a few games succeeded in that delivery. There are other games that probably did some tragic endings, but I think Red Dead Redemption absolutely did it the best with the way it built it up, and you spent that game, and the entire time you're just trying to save your family, and you know how it plays out. When you're on your ranch, you're doing your thing, and then the government suddenly shows up, and you got to do this final gun showdown. You got to try and get your family out of there, and you give your life to save them.
All right.
That's not the ending.
I have to say the ending of God of War 3.
Okay.
All right, so all through the game, you're just killing gods, and the world around you is getting worse. You know, you kill Helios, the sun goes out permanently. You kill Poseidon, the oceans raise. So you get to Zeus, and you're thinking, there's no way you can kill Zeus. Then all hope is lost. You know, he's the god upon gods. How are you actually going to see this through? Can you even kill him? Not only do you kill him, but the ending sequence into killing him is one of the most satisfying in video games, period. It is so fucking manly and raw, and you charge in there and you beat the fucking tar out of him. It's every bit as brutal and actually one of the best kills in the God of War series, and I don't think I need to explain to anybody how monumental that is.
Nick Knoke.
All right, I'm going to start mine off with a quote from the ending, all right? There's always a man, always a lighthouse, always a city. See, this
Last of Us.
Bioshock Infinite.
Okay.
All right,
Bioshock?
Bioshock Infinite. Now I know what your argument's going to be. It's confusing. Yeah, it's a little confusing, but that's what
kind of like what the hell's going on.
That's what makes it great. All right.
I love when I don't know what's going on. I love
what that quote meant.
Does not
is
frustrate me
the
at all.
hero that you're playing, Booker DeWitt. He is he's also the villain, Father Comstock. Now, you find this out in the end when your daughter Elizabeth or Anna, however you want to say it, gets her full potential. She realizes that there's always going to be a man, there's always going to be a lighthouse and a city and all that. The only way to stop this endless paradox of bad things happening is for her to kill you. Now, that by you dying, that finishes the cycle, or it breaks the cycle, and it makes it to where there's not going to be a Father Comstock or villain X here. There's not going to be any Elizabeth or Anna. Just ending the cycle of this terrible, terrible alternate dimension whole plot thing.
Did you play the game?
I did.
Okay.
That's
All right. I'm
all I
gonna
was
ask you a
gonna say.
question. What kind of emotions did you feel when you finished the game?
When those credits started rolling and that music started playing, I just sat there rethinking my life. I was like, holy shit. And like, it took me a moment I had to think about it. I went over to Jonathan who had beat the game. I was discussing it with him. I was trying to make sure I got everything all sorted out. Of course, I've lost some of my memories in the years because it's been 2 years since Bioshock Infinite. I literally sat there for a good 10 minutes just looking at the credits and then looking at a blank screen thinking, what the hell? I had to go online to make sure I got the whole story straight and everything because that game was so it led up to all this action. You thought you're going to finally go kill Father Comstock. You find out that you're Father Comstock. You find out about this whole paradox, these alternate dimensions. You go through the city from the original 2 Bioshocks, and it blows your mind.
All right, Huggie.
All I'm going to say is if BioWare had gone to Santa Monica Studios and said, hey, we're having trouble with Mass Effect 3's ending, they would be like, too right you are. Let me show you how a real man does this shit. You're going to go in there, Matt, and Shepard's going to box that Reaper's fucking ears. It was, if I wanted to go for a, romantic, stirring ending, it would have been Final Fantasy X. If I wanted to go for something deep and heartfelt and interesting, it would have been, I shouldn't say interesting, but deep and heartfelt, I would have gone for The Last of Us. But God of War only got better. 1, 2, 3, it only got better. The set pieces got bigger. And to be able to top all 3 games and the moments in and cap it off so sufficiently that it can be felt as both satisfying. Like, I was in my chair hitting that button right as I'm still punching fucking Zeus and the blood is splattering until the screen reds out. I was like, woo! Violence!
Alright, Joey Hill.
All right, Chris Hogg. You're asking me about the emotion.
Yes, what emotions did you feel when
That is all I felt.
Okay.
Emotion. You got warned by the final gang member, Dutch, of the government, and then you think that everything's honky dory, and suddenly you're under attack, and you engage in this inevitable struggle. You cannot win. You can only hope that your family makes it away, and then you die. The next scene opens up, and there's Jack standing over both of his parents' graves by himself. So you knew, you kind of felt from the whole entire game this inevitable struggle that the government had this control over Marston. And then Jack, he hunts down Ross. They engage in a brief exchange of words, very solemn. It wasn't very loud. They didn't argue. Very short. And then they engage in their duel. You win as Jack, but you want to be like, I got revenge. Fuck yeah! But that's not what you feel. You feel the true bitterness that is revenge. It took you to a new place that video games hadn't done before and made you feel something that video games don't typically make you feel.
I felt that with a lot of video games.
That's where you went with Red Dead Redemption. That bitterness, that emptiness that is revenge. And I think that is a true work of art that they did that with their ending.
You guys have anything to say?
I just have to say, you're emphasizing to me what isn't the ending of Red Dead. You're emphasizing the part where the government kills John.
No, I'm emphasizing that emptiness and
yeah,
revenge you feel as Jack.
You
when
just
you
talked
engage
about
in that final
for
duel
like the first time just
with
now.
Ross.
So all I'm saying is like, I felt that with a lot of video games. Mass Effect 3 made me feel that where I got where I got revenge for Thane. Like,
but that wasn't the ending.
It wasn't the ending, but that's what I'm saying. Endings, it doesn't take an ending to make you feel that emotion. It takes
But
my
there aren't a
ending
lot of
to make you
endings that
feel
make
the
you do
emotion. It takes my ending to make you feel the emotion that BioShock Infinite makes you feel,
Look,
and that is
not everyone rethinks their life when they play video games. Okay.
They both have great endings, and as said before, if we wanted to do deep and emotional, there is a whole array of games. That's pretty much all games do nowadays. That's the trend, that's the fad.
But started it.
When you sit down to a video game and you finish it and you get that, okay, well, what do I do now feeling? When you get that, bittersweet, okay, I finished the game, but there are some emotions I have to process. Maybe I'll watch a movie or something. Didn't get that with God of War 3. You got consistency all the way through. You got brutality. You got a very satisfying ending that left you pumped. It left you okay where things left off. And it even left a little bit of hope for the future.
I don't think it's a fair argument to say that other games make you feel like that have that emotional aspect, because there's a lot of games where you literally beat the crap out of the boss and that's the end of the game.
I'm going to call it right here because I've made up my mind.
All right,
and I'm going to give it to Huggie with God of War 3 because the way you put it in that last couple sentences, you just hooked it. With the empty feelings you guys get and the rethinking of how the tragedy versus the triumph. That's what I'm getting from this conversation, and Huggie put it perfect. All right, guys, we're going to the speed round. It is tied. Joey 3, Huggie 3, Nick 1. I'm sorry, you're out of the speed round, Nick.
Fuck you.
I'm out.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, Nick. I love you.
All right, guys, down to the speed round. All right, we all know the speed round. If you guys say the same thing, the first person to answer gets the question right. All right?
Right.
But if you pick different answers, I want a short blurb about why it's better than the other thing. All right, as fast as you possibly can. At max, I'll give you 30 seconds. At max, and I'm pushing. That's pushing it. All right.
Push me.
All right. For the first speed round question, you only have enough for one of these games for 3DS. Which one do you buy? Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, or Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate?
Monster Hunter.
Joey said it first. Better sports games, 2K or EA?
2K.
EA.
Tell me why.
Well, 2K Sports that's not just a design team. That's the actual series, right? EA
Yes.
is the design team. So 2K is the
Well,
actual.
EA Sports, 2K Sports.
Yeah, they're both
Okay.
the same.
Well, 2K. I still have to go to 2K because EA is just a shit bomb. Their products are never finished. 2K, I feel they actually try and they nail a lot of the mechanics, especially in their baseball games.
Madden, NHL, baseball, MLB. They've got it all. They got the pro things. People go for Madden. I bought Madden. I'm not gonna talk about what happened after that, but I bought Madden.
I'm gonna have to give it to EA because of the name brands.
Oh my god.
I want
That is
to
the
add
wrong
right now,
answer, sir.
Chris Hawk, 2K. When they made the football game, those games are 10 times better than
The
that.
call's
Huggie
been made.
did
Next
not say
speed round
that.
question. This is the speed round. We need to go quick.
All right,
2K is way better.
Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot?
Crash.
Why?
Crash was a better game. Had better levels. Had a better character. Had a better storyline. Better game.
Sounds very
Chris
familiar.
Hawk. Chris Hawk. No, I've played Crash. I think it's a better
Yeah,
game.
okay.
Spyro is consistently better just throughout. I think after like Crash 2, things start taking a very serious dip. And Spyro just has really imaginative worlds. It's fun to fly around. It's cutesy. It's great for, you know.
Huggie gets the point.
All right, let's go.
All right,
Crash has a better story though.
you only can choose between one or the other: Xbox Live or PlayStation Network.
Xbox Live.
Tell me why.
Well, it used to be free. Can't really go off that anymore. But it gives the best content. I feel like they have the best indie games. The indie games that they're coming out with have just the most story. They're the most thought out, and also they haven't tried to dick you over like Xbox has repeatedly.
Me and you got
Joey
some
Hill.
words.
Free games. You got a better community. You have more frequent updates. You have less glitchy problems with it. And there you go. That's Xbox Live.
I feel like
That's
three
it.
of those
Better
things
community,
don't
right
apply
there.
just to the Xbox.
Oh God.
PlayStation does have free games as well.
Yeah.
I hear more people complain about Xbox Live. I'm going to Huggie.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my god.
It's tied up right now.
All right,
Some Xbox
Don't you want an
fanboy.
Xbox fanboy?
you're going through your old collection of your N64 games, and you find 2 gems. Which do you play? Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong 64?
Donkey Kong.
Oh crap!
That was same time. That was the same
That
time.
was the same time I'm sitting
got
on the other
Donkey
side of
King
the table
written
just so
down.
I can tell.
The real answer is Rogue Squadron. Next
You guys
question.
didn't finish the answer.
Jet Force, Gemini.
You guys did-
Donkey Kong 64.
I have to give it to Huggie because he said the entire thing. All you guys said was Donkey Kong.
Just next question, Chris Hawk.
I wouldn't.
That was kind of.
Oh, okay.
That
That
was-
doesn't count.
that
That
was-
doesn't count.
I'd say just
I have
give
2
no-
questions left. 2 questions
Okay,
left.
okay,
questions
okay,
left.
okay,
Okay.
okay, all right.
Doesn't count.
all
Doesn't
right,
count. Doesn't
all
count. But remember, you got to say the full answer,
right.
guys.
Full answer, all right.
All right.
All right. Battlefield or Star Wars Battlefront?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Tell me why.
It's just a better co-op game. It has these great set pieces. There are videos all over the place of people doing the cool stuff in them. It has very free-form mechanics. You're free to do whatever you please, kill anybody however you please, and I think it's the better value. I think you get more play out of it.
Star Wars Battlefront has been around a lot longer. I'm still playing it. I still love it. The replayability in just by yourself, without your friends, is infinite. I've played it again and again and again by myself. It has that Battlefield aspect, and back in the day when you had the online options, you could play with crap tons of people, just like you can in Battlefield. I think it was like 36 people in the same map. It was ridiculous, and it was fun. And when somebody got that Jedi, you were like, oh shit, run away. So that's the Star Wars Battlefront for me.
Joey gets the point. All right,
Tie
Huggie.
it up.
Huggie, you could tie it up, or if Joey gets it, he wins.
Okay.
All right. Mortal Kombat X or Dead or Alive Last Round?
Mortal
Dead or
Kombat
Alive
X.
last round.
Huggie.
Other than just being a better fighting game in general and having better characters in general, fatalities. Come on. Fatalities. Ripping people's heads off, chopping the fronts of their foreheads off, reaching up into their stomachs and freezing that shit and exploding people. Violence, my friends. Violence is the answer to this question.
I'll give you my argument, but he's already got the point. My argument, Chris Hawk, is you have classic characters. You got boobs, 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 boobs. Everybody has a finishing move. Okay. Fatalities, they're just finishing moves, okay? I love doing my finishing move as Ryu
Fatalities,
Hayabusa.
animalities,
Look, this is my
brutalities.
turn to talk, okay? Alright. Chris Hawk, boobs, tons of boobs, gorgeous characters.
Jade, Melina,
and
Katana.
everyone has a finisher. Easy to drop through a bridge,
Realistic
nothing more
boobs.
satisfying.
Realistic.
Oh my God.
Oh, there's nothing realistic about those.
I get
Regardless.
Huggie gives the point because of fatalities. It's overall
tied
tied up.
It's tied up.
Ah!
Ooh.
Ah!
I knew he was gonna
you want to wrestle?
I don't know why I got in there so hard with that one. I knew he had the point.
Purple Rain.
But I mean, you had
You defended it well.
wow.
Booze and
Jesus.
violence. That's hard.
Better video game villain, Sephiroth or Ganondorf?
Sephiroth.
Huggy gets the point.
Damn it.
Man, Sephiroth killed more people. Lot more
Good game,
people.
guys.
All right.
That was fun.
Yeah, man, that was fun. Oof, you're a good competitor.
Joey gets competitive.
Yeah, I like it though.
Huggy wins.